What's up, everybody? It's hump day. That's never going to get old to me. I don't know if you guys saw, but I've got our printers, well, in my office anyways, and in full swing here. I got the Ender 6, making Ender 6 LCD housings because, yo dog, I heard you like Ender 6s, so we're going to have your Ender 6 make stuff for your Ender 6. Got quite a few machines printing the housings right now. Got both my ABS machines running. Got the Daedalus running, my Ender 3 Pro, my Easy 300, the Ender 6, the Ender 5 Plus. Cranking out parts here because we are still looking for somebody to run our print farm. So right now, my machines are actually getting used for once. I retired Woody. I actually gave it to our new guy, Sean. He was like, yeah, I'm thinking about getting another printer. And I was like, I got you. I got you. You can take this printer. It works, but you know, it's a wood frame printer. I didn't feel like selling it because like it works, but I'd rather just give it to somebody. So Sean got his first printer. I'm sure it'll be first of many as he works here, because I love pawning off our old printers on on our employees. So it's terrible. You know, sometimes you just have to take my old printers, my sloppy seconds. So, but anyways, we are printing all of our LCD housings now on the textured plates. Just mix this up because I'm gonna need this today. What's shaking? My shaker cup with my maw. So anyways, Clara's with me. Samantha is at my parents' house getting some accounting stuff done for the company. And Remo is in his crate having a nap. He was out for a lot of time today, so I was like, I'm going to crate him. I don't feel like having any surprise charts like we did on the Under 6 stream. Yeah, that happened. I don't have any random printer tangents coming up. I do have, I know we got a lot of drone guys that watch, so I just wanted to show you guys this. I'm working on this today. I just printed this little bumper case for my GPS module. This is an old ZMR 250 frame. Samantha bought it for me, so it's got some sentimental value. So I keep putting stuff on it. I got an F722 Mamba on here with a Race Day Quad Mach 3 VTX. And I don't know if you guys see this, I just added a TBS Crossfire here. So Tor and a bunch of the other guys were talking me into it because my Spectrum was working well when I was close. When I started getting like across the street, it was getting kind of sketchy. So they're like, you need to get some Crossfire. So luckily they give me shit for flying Spectrum, but Spectrum actually released a firmware update that allows me to use the TBS Crossfire module with my Spectrum. So for right now, I have a little disconnect here that just comes off. I got a 2S LiPo in here. So I have a little disconnect that I can just plug in to power up the TBS module. But I don't know if you guys noticed, but it's a 3D printed clip here. So someone actually made this on Thingiverse, and it's actually really nice. It doesn't screw in. It holds the module. It clips on here. So shout out to the guy. I don't have the Thingiverse link up, but it actually just works. Like, it clips in here and gives me a nice professional looking mount. So the only thing I do want to say, if you guys have a Spectrum transmitter and you're going to do this, you lose, you can't control the VTX from the menu here anymore because Betaflight doesn't have it implemented when you're using a Crossfire transmitter. I'm going to have to file a bug report with them because they should be able to. Because it worked on the Spectrum stuff, but there's also no telemetry. But I never really used telemetry on here, so I'm just looking to get longer range. So I don't know if Dave Petzel's watching, but Dave, this is your, I got this, if you guys are familiar with the Pets thing, this controller is actually from, or transmitter is actually from Dave Petzel, who made the Pets thing. He was like, yeah, I got one of these if you want to buy it. So I did. But yeah, so there's our tangent out of the way. I have to turn the AC on though in here because now that the printers are all fired up, it's like 78 in here and nobody wants to see a fat sweaty nerd. So I need to turn the air on. Let's go ahead and just turn that on. Come on, Home Assistant, do your thing. Oh, it's not setting it. Why are we not setting it? Oh no, is my IR blaster not working? There it goes. Okay, now it's working. Anyways, so yeah, let's go into the questions here, because that's what you guys came here for. If any of you guys are in Indiana, you're looking for a job, hit us up. Go to th3dstudio.com, click jobs at the top. We have one position open right now. Also, if you're in the area and you just want to fly some drones, let me know, because the weather's getting nice here, and it'd be nice to have other people to fly with. So we have we have 3 people here in a, not including myself, who fly drones in the area. So, of course, Comcast is going to go to shit. Yeah, yeah, my bit rate's like 1300K. We usually stream out about 4500, but we're just gonna send it. We're just gonna send it. Just gonna send it. Yeah, I'm not sure why it's dropping the bit rate here. I'm just looking at my preview. Oh, it's at 360p. Are you kidding me? Let me see if I can just restart this. Hang on. All right, are we back? Are we back now? I just restarted the stream. Are we back? It's looking better now. So anyways, let's see. Let's see what the chat's going on about today. What questions do we have in chat? You guys have to post questions in the chat or the stream get real weird, because I try to fill them in by yammering on about whatever random shit I'm working on. So, oh, I do have a joke for you guys before we start. Why do astronauts use Linux in space? And there's obviously a chat delay, so I'm just going to say the punchline. Because they can't open Windows. Oh, I meant to say that on the last one. I totally forgot. I don't know what reminded me there. Anyways, let's see. Ram Design beat Derek. Ram beat Derek. Derek's usually the first one to get his question in, but Ram beat out Derek. Ram says, hi, Tim. What would cause a Gantry / hot end to lift on the Z up to its limits and crash when a print is sent? Bad G-code wiring or the silly PO that one time owned the printer? I'm not sure what you mean by that. I think you say, so what would cause a Gantry / hot end to lift Z up to the limits and crash when a print is sent? I would say bad G-code. If you're printing from SD, probably a bad SD card, or maybe your SD reader on your board is going out. An easy way to see is tell it to home from the LCD. See if that works correctly. If that does, I would probably say it's your G code. A bad SD card can do some really weird shit with G code. Apparently my power flickered because my battery backup just was like, hey, I just intervened. But anyways, yeah, it's probably bad G code. I don't know if this is way back in the day. Creality was sending out corrupt G code and bad SD cards with the original CR10s. And if you look at our merch shop, there's actually a shirt that's called Decapicat, and it's called Decapicat because that's what it was known in the groups, because there was a little cat, a lucky cat print on the CR10s, and because the G code was corrupt and the SD cards had issues, it would decapitate the cat. So the head would move out of the way. It would like be printing, then all of a sudden you see your axis go like this, and then it would keep printing and it'd go like this, and then it would go like this, and it would end up decapitating the cat. So it was called Decapitat. It's called Decapicat. And the thing was, like, every day somebody was posting, I'm trying to print and my cat has no head. My cat has no head. So it became a meme because everybody would do the test print and they'd end up with a decapitated cat, and they thought there was something wrong with the printer when it was just bad G code or a corrupt SD card. My theory is they probably cloned a bad SD card, and then that corruption made it to all the SD cards. So RAM, another thing you'd try, bypass the SD slot, print from your computer or print from an Octoprint image, or an Octoprint setup. Highly recommend Octoprint. I don't know if you guys saw, but we released a new EasyPi image called the EasyPi V2, and the V2.1 is out. The only difference between V2 and V2.1 is V2.1, we disabled the automatic file processing for Arc Welder. I have been using Arc Welder myself now on more machines. But I realize if we have it automatic process and somebody doesn't have a printer that has firmware on it with ARC support, it's not going to print correctly. So we just leave it for manual processing for default. And for like, I think the 10 units that got sent out with the V2 image, we did post a thing in our help center about disabling that automatic processing. So if you did get an Easy Pi and it shipped between, well, literally like the 29th or the 30th, and you don't have firmware with ARC support, you're going to want to turn off that setting. And there's a link in the help center under the Easy Pi product information on how to disable the automatic processing. If you're not going to use ARC support at all, just you can uninstall the plugin completely if you want. So, but I have been playing with Arc Welder. I used Arc Welder on these parts here. These are PETG atomic parts, or atomic PETG parts printed on my Wanhao i3 Mini. I used Arc Welder, and it does make the prints come out cleaner because it makes it's smoother. So I updated the firmware on my Wanhao i3 Mini to the latest Unified 2 because that has ARC support in it. And then I ran it through the Arc Welder plugin, and it comes out nice. I'm really liking it now that I'm actually using it myself. We're going to be getting ready to update the firmware on all the printers in the print farm, and then actually go through and re-image all of our Pis out there and reset them up with our latest image, because some of them are running stuff that's like 2 or 3 years old, and while they work, we want to get everything on the same standard. So, but anyways, the next question will be from Derek. He's asking, does the Volcano need double fans? I got a Volcano block, and I'm seeing lots of issues, even though I redesigned the duct to blow the air at the tip of the nozzle. What I'm missing, 0.6 nozzle. So it really depends on how thick of layers you're printing. Now, Bertha is the printer. You guys might have seen the Bertha bundle. Bertha's been on the channel a few times. That's an AlphaWise U10 that's been modded to hell and back. It's a big printer. It's my largest machine I own. And that has dual 50-15 fans on it. Because I have a 0.8 nozzle. Now, here's the thing. When you're printing fast and you're printing thick layers, your filament needs to cool, and you can get to a point where you're printing so fast that the previous layer doesn't have enough time to cool down because it's got such mass to it, because you're printing wide extrusion, thick layers, and just a lot of plastic. So I would highly recommend, if you're using a Volcano nozzle style setup, or we call it our high flow upgrade kit for the hot ends we sell, the longer blocks, dual 50-15s, that's the only time when dual 50-15s make sense. If you're running just a standard nozzle, you probably don't need the dual 50-15s. I run single 50-15s on most of our machines here that print PLA, but they don't have Volcanoes. So, but my CR10 has a Volcano on it. I still run a single 50-15, but I'm not printing very high layer heights. I'm usually doing 0.2, 0.3 on that one. I just have the 0.6 there to make prints come out faster. So, yeah, usually if you're needing more cooling, you'll start seeing where things start getting wobbly. Like instead of flat layer lines, they'll start like curving and stuff, or curling up. That's an indication that you're overheating and you need more cooling. So, let's see here. Armil says, he's swapping out on my CR10 S5 standard board for MKS SGNL V2. Do you think the stock cooling setup is sufficient, or should I get a 50-15 fan to blow across the drivers? I think that's fine. That has a 50mm fan in there. I think you'll be okay, because those have large heat sinks on them. So I don't know which ones you got, but the 2209s from MKS that we have, they come with pretty beefy heat sinks that stick to the back of the driver. So if you have this style, just a fan circulating air will probably be fine to keep these cool. You also got to remember the 2209s also put out less heat than the 2208s. So, but anyways, yeah, you could if you want to. It's not, here's the thing, with cooling, you really, like cooling electronic components, you really can't cool it too much. So if you want to, go ahead. I probably wouldn't do a 50-15. I would probably do like a 60mm and design a duct to blow the air across the drivers, like to kind of encapsulate the drivers, like a little, like a sleeve to go over it. There's a lot of designs like that, that allow for that. If you look like up designs like for SKR 1.4, 1.3, 1.4, or 1. Yeah, SKR 1.3, 1.4, 1.4 turbo driver cooling, you'll see a lot of sleeves like that. If you look up MKS Gen L, that was the predecessor to the S Gen L, those will all fit onto the S Gen L because it's all in the same location. So Never a bad thing to overcool. So, but yeah, you'd probably be fine with the stock one. 3D Print Llama, real question here. Do you have any clue on the date for the S Gen L in stock? I don't know. My that's a good question. I actually got to sign back into WeChat because I talked to our MKS rep through WeChat, and I just realized I got to see if he messaged me because I just changed phones, and realize I have to sign back in on WeChat. So let's see. Is that gonna work? But he said he had 50 of them ready to ship and like 300 of the drivers, and I told him to go ahead and send those. I ordered 100 of them, but I ordered them right before all the silicon shortage happened, and from what I understand, the silicon shortage isn't going away anytime soon. I guess Foxconn told Apple that the shortage could be lasting till the beginning of 2022, which is it's terrible, but there's literally nothing we can do about it. Apparently my stored password's not the right one. But anyways, I'll have to see. But he said they had 50 of them ready to go. I told him to send them to me. They could be on their way, but I got to sign back in. And he didn't email me. He does have my email. So, Justin Dival, any question about the MKS Gen L, S Gen L V2 with the unified firmware? Any plan on implementing dual extrusion for in the firmware? I'd like to, but I don't have the time. If anybody wants to add that in, look at like the examples we have for like the CR10, or not the CR10, but the Creality dual extrusion board. If you guys want to do that, make a pull request. I do review pull requests, and if the code is clean, I will merge stuff in. I don't merge stuff in too much because not many people make pull requests, but don't send me sloppy code. Like I said, I'm the only one that does firmware here, and right now, because we're trying to get, like, I'm running all the printer jobs and everything, I don't have time to do too much firmware stuff unless it's like a bug fix that needs attention right away. So I'd like to, but I don't have the time. If I get somebody in here to take over the print farm, I will have time to do more firmware stuff and do additional things like that, but right now I don't have the time. And I'm back to working like 16 hours a day. It sucks. But anyways, we're not here to bitch about my lack of work-life balance. Ghost E says, question, I have to check to see if it gets answered. Wait, question to check to see if it gets answered later. I used the tutorial to install a new firmware on the S8 and didn't include the standard bed leveling. Now I'm trying to reflash and it will not load. Power cycle the printer and restart your computer. And if you guys are going to ask questions like this where it's like something's not working, provide technical details. If Discord won't, or Discord, because YouTube won't let you post image links, there is a link to Discord in the video description. And I do have the Discord live stream channel up on my screen in front of me right here, which means if you want to post a screenshot or you want to share a picture of an issue, you can send it in there and I will be able to pull it up on stream here. If you want to share a link too, you can post it in there. That's how you can send us stuff while we're live streaming, because YouTube doesn't let you post that kind of stuff in there. So, Blazeby. Tor got Crossfire last night. Awesome. I guess we're all going Crossfire, and we didn't even coordinate that. Victor, can you install Clipper on a board that has Marlin? No, it's one or the other. One or the other. 3D print line. Wasn't it like 6 months ago I had you buy that goofy $25 drone? Yes, I still have those goofy $25 drones. They're the ones I hand to people when they're over and they want to play with one. So if they crash it, whatever. Let's see here. Losing network. Blasto, what kind of camera do you use to get the close-up shots of a board repair? So I use a camera module. It's a C-mount. It's a USB Sony CMOS sensor C-mount box. It's like it's a little box that sits on top of it. It's called a C-mount. So I have the camera module and then a lens screws into that. So it's a lens and a camera module. It's separate. I had another one that was kind of flaky, but it's a C-mount lens with a C-mount compatible camera. So I think I paid about $350 for the lens, the stand, and the camera module. It was kind of a bundle, but I'm not using the original one that came with the bundle because the original one only worked. at 720p over HDMI, and it did do 1080p over USB, but there was like a 1 second delay. So when I'm trying to work on stuff, the delay was just killing me. The one I have now that goes to USB is a little bit better sensor, and it also has no delay. So I can actually look, like if you notice when I'm soldering on stuff and I'm doing really small stuff, I'm actually looking at my monitor because I'm looking at the preview in OBS of the camera feed while I'm doing the soldering. So, I do want to say, just in case anybody asked, I don't know if any asked already, but in terms of Ender 6, I'm very impressed with this machine. After I did the upgrades on the stream last night, it's living over here now. I didn't move the Daedalus because I didn't feel like moving that big thing. I ended up getting rid of Woody. I put my Easy 300 here, or took it from here, put it over there. I moved my whiskey down to the bottom shelf, moved the humidor over. So the Easy 300 is over there. The Ender 6 is over here. I got an Easy plug on it. I got a power blocker and an Easy Pi Pro kit on there, and it's running. I also got the Easy Pi, or Easy Cam HD, which is, where is it? Here. I'll pull it up. I pulled it in when you guys saw it. So I intentionally have our Pi images set to do 4 frames per second at 720p, just because it conserves bandwidth, especially if you're doing remote access like the Spaghetti Detective. But this is our camera that we sell. So this is the quality, and I didn't even focus this. I could probably get a little sharper picture because we do have a manual focus adjustment. And I can show you that here, actually. Let me see here. Yeah, here. Let me see if I can adjust the focus a little. I'm going to put it up on my big screen here so I can see. Hang on, because I'm going to adjust the focus, and I'll show you. You guys can literally manually focus this. So there we go. That looks a lot better. But yeah, so I've got it all kitted out. Oh no, it just moved. I grabbed the window. So anyways, yeah, it's printing right now. So I've been running this actually pretty hard, and I plan on using this. It's in my little farm in my office here, and we're gonna go ahead and use it as one of the machines in my office here. I'm pretty happy with it. My only complaint is that you do need a power blocker. I showed that when we did it because it does try to surge USB ports. But I did a power blocker, Easy Pi, Easy Plug, Easy Cam, Easy ABL, Easy Flex, Tough Tube, solid bed mounts. What else did I do? Oh, then the screen kit. So, I saw somebody ask about the probe points, because it was failing on the probe. It was probing too fast. We ended up having to drop it down to just the fast probe instead of the super fast probe, and everything works great now. So, let's see here. Sunlu S8, Sunlu S8 Easy Pro self-compiled firmware, G28 command from screen works. When I try to run a print, the probing and the probing starts from the Z safe home location. Any ideas? I would say download our firmware, use ours, make sure your probe offsets are correct, and make sure you're using the starting code that we provide. If you have the firmware set up correctly, and then you reset your EEPROM to make sure no lingering settings are still there, and then use our starting code, everything should work correctly. It's that simple. You install the kit, you set the option of the firmware, flash your firmware, clear your EEPROM, and then make sure you're using our starting code. If you deviate from that, depending on how you deviate and what you do or don't do, things could break. So it's best to just use what we provide because it's been qualified and we know it works. So 128/64 screen ETA. I have no idea. But what I am going to do is I tested this because I was like, what do we have? Because I wanted to use the Creality LCDs because they're just a single cable and we go right into the stock board. Now, what I found was we can actually use the traditional 128/64 LCDs, the ones with the red PCBs. I don't have one handy here. And the LCD adapter that we originally designed for our Easy board, and it works with the stock control board on the Ender 6. So I'm having Jerry redesign the Ender 6 housing for the Creality LCD. So we'll have two different versions of the housing. One will take the standard 128/64. So you use the standard 128/64 LCD screen with the little EasyBoard dual LCD or dual cable LCD adapter, and then that will work. So we're going through and designing a separate housing because that screen is slightly different mounting and layout, but it will achieve the same result. So it'll just be one other thing. You'll have the LCD with the two cables go into the adapter board, and the adapter board plugs into the Creality board. But in terms of firmware, it's the same story. So, but yeah, we have a bunch of screens on order. I've got 400 of Creality screens on order. They haven't given me an ETA. I have 200 coming from a Creality reseller we've been dealing with for years. And we also have 200 coming directly from Creality. I actually have a sales rep directly at Creality now, versus the one guy we've been dealing with that works. He's a reseller of Creality, so he can get us genuine Creality parts. But I have two different orders in right now. Hopefully one of them shows up. They're both getting shipped DHL. So, Nexon says his Ender 5 Plus squeaks when it Z-hops. Tried lubricating the lead screws with super lube silicone and lubricating grease, but didn't fix the issue. Any tips to stop the squeaking? Slow down your Z-axis. It could just be going too fast. If you run a Z-axis too fast, you will get like noise from the brass nut on the lead screw itself. Todd, what would be the biggest advantage of switching from a Creality 422 board to the Easy board? No, you don't like the 422 board. Just deciding if I want to live with what I got or change over. So it depends on what 422 board you have. The stock 422 board in like the Ender 3 and the Ender 5, that's going to have the louder drivers. The 422 board with the 4988 drivers seems to be reliable. I say that because the 422 is also in the Ender 3 V2 with TMC 2208s, and a lot of people are having issues with the drivers overheating. So if you have a 422 that's an Ender 3 V2, that would solve the overheating problem. But to be completely honest with you, you're not going to see a huge print quality difference, or really any at all, if you're using the 422 with our firmware versus the Easy board with our firmware. You do get full control of the driver. So if you have a 422 with the 2208s, then you can actually run linear advance if you want to play with that on our Easy board, whereas you can't do that with the 422 because of how they have the driver set up. You have control over the VREF from the printer LCD with the Easy board, whereas with the 422 from Creality, whether you have the Trinamic version or the 4988, you have to get in there with a screwdriver and a multimeter to set those. So if you're losing steps or motor's running too hot, it's a physical adjustment, whereas the Easy board, you just press a button on the LCD and, turn it, and it changes the VREF. So, like with the Ender 6, I could put an Easy board in here and I could get it working with it. The only drawback would be I wouldn't have access to the SD slot because of how that printer is. But for me personally, I could do that and it wouldn't be a pain because I don't use the SD slot unless I'm updating firmware. So, but I want to leave the stock board in here and use it. And then when it dies, I'll reevaluate. Maybe I'll put a 427 in it. Maybe I'll put an Easy board in it. But I paid for the board. It came with it. I'm going to use it right now. So let me see here. Sean Youth, have I had a chance to try the Dragon Hot? And I have not. I have so much stuff here that I bought that needs to get looked at. I'm not buying any more stuff. Yeah, it looks like either YouTube or Comcast is just royally screwing up today. Let me run a speed test to see. Is it YouTube or is it Comcast? What do we think? What do you guys think? Is it YouTube or Comcast? Who's dropping the ball today? I just spilled some drink. I sing Rook Fett. I just saw it in the chat here. On Hammer, it suggests a VRF of 1.197. If using your Easy board, how can that be set? 1.197 doesn't mean anything. Is that 1.197 amps? Is that volts? And if it's volts, that's completely useless because The VREF is going to be a different value depending on what board and drivers you have. For the Chimera, I would recommend starting out at like 800 for the VREF. That's 0.8 amps. So on the easy board, you can go to the E, and 800 should be the default. That should be enough. And if it's running too hot, you can lower the current. I'd usually do decrements of 100. So like, let's say you're at 800, it's running a little too hot. Like it's hot enough where you can't keep your finger on it without being like, drop it down by 100. But yeah, anyways, it's not Comcast though. For once, I just ran a speed test. I'm actually getting 40 up. So it's YouTube. It's YouTube today. YouTube is the biggest loser, not Comcast. Surprise. I'm going back here. Victor Rivera, which board do you suggest to upgrade on a budget for Ender 3 Pro? The 427, which we have those in stock right now. We do have those in stock. They're sitting in our shop. We just got a shipment of those in. So we do have the 427 boards, and that's a decent board. It's a good budget board. It doesn't have the issues like the big Tree Tech SKR E3s have. The voltage regulation's good. The 5-volt rail's stable. You know, Creality will actually warranty it if it breaks. There's that too. You know, and it's got the 2225s on there, and those do a better job at staying cool despite Creality cheaping out on the copper on that board. So let's see here. Dragon Hot End, already answered that. Answer the thing about the probes. What's a good replacement board with replaceable drivers and Wi-Fi updatable? I don't know what you mean by Wi-Fi updatable. If you're looking for a budget board with replaceable drivers, MKS SGNL. I don't know what you mean by Wi-Fi updatable firmware. Like, you want to flash over that? I mean, Duet has, I believe Duet you can update over Wi-Fi. But Duet's a pain in the ass, to be completely honest. Go look at my video on doing the CR10. It works now that I have it set up, but if you're used to Marlin, or if you're new, or both, you're gonna struggle with the Duet. So let me see here. 3D Jeff, saving money for good upgrade. Do I have a leftover OEM board laying around for cheap? I do not have many OEM boards laying around. We use those in our machines here. Like if I like upgrade a machine to an easy board, the old board goes out to our print farm bin. So let me see here. We did not do the giveaway yet, although today is the last day of the month. So we will be pulling a winner today. We're not going to do it on stream. I'll pop on and do a short stream. We'll pull the winner. Yeah. So let me see here. I'm just checking something here. Cool. Anyways, let's see here. Chat jumped on me. Hang on. I'm going back. Okay, we're back to where we're at. All right. Printer. I'm looking for questions. There we go. Arden Phillips. Chimera versus Bondtech plus LGS. Bondtech LGX plus Copperhead. Older client who needs ease of use and maintenance plus performance. What would you recommend? So the Daedalus has a Bondtech on it, in it, but it's got the E3D hot end. I actually like the Bondtechs. They're very easy to load. I will say that. Now, I have not used a Chimera, but I would say, I don't know. What do you guys think in chat? I think either one's going to be good. I do feel like the Bondtech's probably a little easier to load filament in and adjust. I don't know. What does chat think? I'd probably go with the Bondtech. I'd go with Bondtech with a V6 is what I would probably do. Let's see. Yeah, I mean, if you're installing it, I'd probably go with the Bondtech. You're probably gonna be pretty close. I feel so. Here's the thing: the Bondtech and the Carburetor are gonna be a little bit larger, but I feel like they'll be easier to service. Either one's gonna be good. I've heard good things about both. I have a Bondtech. I think it's a DDX on the so what I'm looking for, the Daedalus. So, Sengo, we have not released the STL file for the Under 6 LCD conversion. I'm debating it. I was literally thinking today if we just put it on the site. The problem is, even if we say, hey, if you buy this, it's for personal use only, all it takes is one asshole to buy it and then post it on Thingiverse. And then, you know, we spent close to 10 hours working on that, like paid somebody to do that. Maybe at a later date we will, but right now, since we just released it, we're not releasing the file. So, because that's something we design in-house from scratch. So, you know, like just think about this. Put this in perspective. We bought a machine that was $550, paid a guy hundreds of dollars in time to design it, and then all my time that went into it too. So, you know, you're talking close to $1,000 just to develop that LCD housing. So, and, you know, we just started selling it. So at a certain point when we, you know, at least break even where we've sold enough cases to cover the cost of development, maybe we'll put it up for a couple bucks, but right now we're not. So, because people are shitty. I'd rather not worry about somebody, you know, putting that out there, or, you know, they get it and then they just make their own version, like remake it. You know, I'd rather, if somebody really wants to put one out there, they can buy the printer and spend the time designing it like we did. So, let's see here. John Santiago said, last year I asked about my Ender 3 Pro and the garbled beeping screen, so the EMI probably won't fix it. I noticed the menu was changing on its own too, so I installed the EMI board. It's only happened one time since maybe fixed. I don't know. It shouldn't. So here's the thing: that board doesn't touch any of the lines for the data. It only touches the lines for the encoder. So, I don't know. Maybe it helped. It shouldn't have messed with it. So, but let's see here. Oh, I did want to mention, we might be cutting back on the streams and just doing them on Wednesdays until I can get that print farm person in. I'm going to try to keep doing them on Mondays and Wednesdays, but we might cut back to just Wednesdays for the streams. If we do decide to do that, I'll post an update. Let's see here. Someone's asking, are you available for DMs on Discord? No, I do not respond to DMs unless it's someone I know, because people send me DMs all the time. It's really annoying. I do have a life, well, a little bit. I have a little bit of a life outside of here. If I respond to everybody's messages, I would literally get nothing done. So got to draw the line somewhere there on how accessible you are. It's one of the reasons I got off social media, is I had tons of people messaging me and it was just nonstop. But there's a lot of good people. Like, that's why we set the communities up. The TH3D Discord has a ton of people in it and they're very helpful. So, you know, post your questions in there. There's a lot of people that are more than willing to answer questions and help out. Let's see here. I'm checking. Someone said, yeah, so I don't know who this is. I think this is the guy with the S8. I think that's Jeffy Boy. So he's able to compile, but he's getting an error. It says message timeout. You probably have something grabbing your COM port. If you read the directions, it says to make sure all slicers are closed. Something is grabbing your COM port. The error is telling you that it can't grab that COM port. Also check to make sure your COM port did not change. Sometimes if you change the USB port, it'll come up on a different COM port. So go through the manual selection of your COM port and make sure that it's actually on the right one. So, let's see here. We're dropping frames again. Yay, YouTube. I don't know if it's getting choppy on your guys' end. The preview looks like shit over here, though. I'm saying this. It looks like garbage. Oy vey. So, oh, now I'm getting spinning. I don't know if this is even coming through, but I got the little spinning circle on my preview on my other screen here. Yay, technical issues. Sean, unless someone's going to send me all the parts and print everything, I'm not building a Voron. If someone wants to send me all the parts and print everything, I will build one, but I am not going through the time of printing and sourcing parts, especially when I do not need more printers. Let's see here. RAM design. Can I install... What the hell? Why is this... Is this still live? Because I can't even see it on my end now. It says connect streaming software to start the preview. I'm just going to roll with it. RAM design. Can I install EasyABL on my old Ender 3? Concerned about space. Yeah, it'll fit all Ender 3s. Will I put one on the Kyra in the future? Is it possible? I think that's going to be the next machine I'm going to kind of put under the knife, so to speak, in terms of a more involved upgrade. I don't know if that LCD can be reflashed to work directly with Marlin or not. I don't think it can, so again, we're probably going to have to do a damn conversion kit, because I think that's running MKS TFT. I can't remember. It's been a while since I poked on that. It's been sitting in my garage since we did the videos on it. Yeah, let me see here. Film factory. Having trouble set up a 1mm nozzle. Any tip on slicer settings, layer height, first layer height, flow multipliers? You should just put the nozzle in, change your slicer to tell it you have a 1mm nozzle. For a 1mm nozzle, I'd probably run like a 0.6 layer height, somewhere around there. You're going to need to do more retractions. The larger nozzle you get, the more retraction you're going to need, because it's going to want to seep out because the hole's bigger. You could try also enabling like nozzle wipe. So what I'll do is, as it does a retract, and like I use Simplify 3D, and there's an option to do a retraction during wipe. So what that will do is it'll retract, and as it's retracting, it's going to wipe the nozzle on the print, so it gets that plastic that's leaking out off of there. So let's see here. Justin saying there's a bug with Unified firmware. It's not processing the tool change between nozzles. All tool change stuff should be happening in your slicer, but Unified 1 is never going to receive another update, ever. Everything's going over Unified 2. So you should be using Unified 2 if you have a printer and board that's supported in Unified 2. I only have a couple more machines, and they're ones that are not super popular. That need to be converted over, but all the major ones have been moved over at this point. So, chat just jumped. Let me see if I can get back. Chris Travis, will you be attending Murph this year? If they have it, yes. I saw they moved it to June. If they have it, we'll be there. Will I ever make/sell the Easy 300 printer? Nope, that's dead in the water. If we're going to do a printer, we're going to do a different design. I think I'm one of the... There's a couple of them out there in the wild. There's a couple people that bought the AL4, which is what we were using as a base for it, and I sent them the STL files we designed for the Easy 300 because we're not selling it. It was a project that fizzled out and is dead. So there's a couple of people that recreated it and made their own, but we're not going to be doing that. I'm talking with Joe from Project R3D about making a printer somewhere in the Prusa territory, somewhere around $1,000 of a ready-to-run, fully assembled printer. So, I think if we team up with him, we can get some nice machines with all of our kit on there. Vape2 Live said, order was just delivered for my EasyABL for my SVO1. Does it make sense to just wait for the Easy board to be in stock to install the ABL Pro? No, it'll run fine on the stock board, and that stock board has a bootloader, so you update over USB. Throw it on there. We've got two SVO1s here. One has an Easy board, the other one has a stock board. Both have the EasyABL Pro on there, and they work just fine. Let me go back here. I do have a lot of people blowing me up on Teams here, so I do have to get off here. I'm going to cut this a little short today. But I will be back on later to pull the winner of this month's printer and announce what printer that's going to be. So it'll be fun. We'll be drop shipping that one. Since I do have printers here, but they're ones that I have to use for development. So we'll be drop shipping a printer to you. Let's see here. Tabio, what about the toolkit? Still waiting on I don't know if maybe they're on that ship that got stuck. Let me pull up the track. I know I have the tracking somewhere, but I also know the supplier sent me the tracking. Where is it? I gotta see if oh wait, it should be in our system here. Let me pull up my purchase order. Inbound stock. Because she sent me the tracking on it. Yeah, easy driver kit. Let's see. I thought I put it on. Yeah, I did. Tracking. Let's see. Did UPS get it from the port yet? It just says processed. So I'm assuming that container is still on its way that has those. I'm gonna send her a message right now. So it's just shipping screwed up still. So anyways, yeah, it's been a while. I mean, there's literally nothing I can do. They shipped them. Now we just gotta wait for the ship to get the stuff here. So anyways, I'm gonna wrap this up a couple minutes early here just because I have a bunch of people that are pinging me. My Teams notifications are popping up here. So I appreciate everybody that stopped by, and I hope you guys learned something. And as always, oh wait, Clara, do you want a treat? Yeah, you do. Yeah, you do. I almost forgot. Come here. Come here. You're a good girl. You're such a good girl. Just sitting back there all patient. Can you sit? Give me a shake. Come on, shake. Yeah. Good girl. All right. Well, I hope you guys learned something. And as always, happy printing. See you guys on the next one, which will be later tonight. Bye-bye.